Bivariate values is a set of values that have exactly two variables. So I have an example of bivariate values for you. You can treat this as a data set. So I have two variables. X represent the number of hours a student study weekly, and Y represent GPA. So let's take a look at the first pair. The first pair is X1 equals to 10, Y1 equals to 3.8. So the first student study 10 hours per week and maintain a 3.8 GPA. The second student study 9 hours per week and maintain a 4.0 GPA. So we have a total of 8 students in this data. And if you take a look at the last student, the 8th student studies 0 hours per week and maintain a 3.5 GPA. So you can take X1, Y1 as an order pair, X comma Y. And then you can graph the data as well. So that is called a scatter plot. We already discussed that in another video. And then other than using X comma Y, you can give X a name, hour, and then you can give Y a name, GPA. So two variables, hour and GPA. So if you take a look at the first order pair, 10 comma 3.8. So when I see 10 comma 3.8, I know that students study 10 hours per week and maintain a 3.8 GPA. So the last student, so that will be 0 comma 3.5. The 7th student, that will be 3 comma 1.8. The 6th student is 4 comma 3.6. That student study 4 hours per week and maintain a 3.6 GPA. So when you have bivariate values, two variables, how do you find the sum of products and product of sum? For the sum of product, we have to multiply first. So you look at every single pair, X1, Y1, X2, Y2, X3, Y3, so on and so forth. So for each individual pair, you multiply the X and Y. So for X1, Y1, you multiply them, and then X2, Y2, multiply them, and then X3, Y3, multiply them, X4, Y4, multiply them. And then we will get a product for every single student, right? So student number 1 has a product, number 2 has a product, number 3 has a product. So everyone has a product, and then you have 8 students. So at the end of the day, you have to find the sum. So you have to add all the 8 products together. So that will be, if you look at the formula, so that is X1, Y1 plus X2, Y2 plus X3, Y3 until you reach to the last step, all right? And then how about the product of sum? Product of sum means you add X and Y individually. Do you see that? I have sum of X and then times sum of Y. So sum of X, that means you look at the X values first, you add up all the X, and then you add up all the Y. So you have one sum for X, one sum for Y. At the end of the day, you multiply them. So that is called the product of sum. So let's take a look at an example. So I prepare a data set for you, and I want you to calculate each of the following. And then the first one is the sum of Y square, right? So the sum of Y square means you square every individual Y value and then you add them together. Let's write this down. So we have sum of Y square. So that is 5 square plus 7 square. We are doing Y, so we forget about the X for now. And then 10.5 square, 12 square, 13.4 square, and then 20.1 square, and then 30 square. So this one, if you calculate carefully, the sum is equals to 11.82. So that is the sum of Y. And then I want to add one more after I finish the last one. That is the square root of sum of Y times sum of X. Okay, so because as we move down, you won't see the data again. So now is a good opportunity to take a screenshot so you don't have to rewind the video. The next one is the sum of X square. All right, let's use a different color to do that. So this is the square of sums, right? So this one means we add first. We handle the operation inside the parenthesis first. So the operation is addition. So you add all the X up. 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 7 plus 9 plus 10. And then square. So this one is equals to 1024. So that is the square of a sum. And then the next one is the sum of Y times the sum of x. So the sum of y times the sum of x. So we have to add the y and then plus, oh sorry, not plus, and then we multiply the sum of x. Okay, so the y, let's add all the y. So that is 5 plus 7 plus 10.5 plus 12 plus 13.4. Let's move that to the second line, 20.1, and then plus 30. And then the x is 5, no, not 5. The x is 0, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 7, plus 9, plus 10. And then we have a 98. So let me make sure, because the last one on my notes, I wrote plus 0. So I have to check my work to make sure I add the numbers right. So we have 5 plus 7 plus 10.5 plus 12 plus 13.4 plus 20.1 and then plus 30. So this is equals to 98. And then we have to multiply the sum of x. So 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 7 plus 9 plus 10, that is equals to 32. And then we take 98, multiply 32, and then we have 3136. So 3136. So that is the third sum. So this one is the same thing as, so I have to tell you then this is the same thing as the sum of x. Okay. The sum of x times the sum of y. The sum of x is equals to 32, the sum of y is equals to 98, so that is equals to 3136. So this one you can switch the order because a times b is equals to b times a, right? The next one is the sum of x times y. So the sum of x times y, let's switch to another color. So we have the sum, let's make the symbol look better, x times y. So this one we have to multiply every single pair first. So 0 times 5 and then plus 1 times 7, not plus, 1 times 7 and then plus 2 times 10.5 and then plus 3 times 12 and then plus 7 times 13.4. So I have to move up so you don't see the data again, and then plus 9 times 20.1 and then plus 10 times 30. So this one I got 638.7. And then this one I have to tell you that it is the same thing as the sum of y times x, because if you do the sum of y times x, the first one will be 5 times 0, and then the second one is 7 times 1, and then the third one is 10.5 times 2, and then so on and so forth. Do we agree that 5 times 0 is the same thing as 0 times 5? 1 times 7 is the same thing as 7 times 1. So this one, you will get the same sum, 638.7. And then we have 2 more to go. So let me make sure that is right. Yep, we have 2 more to go. The sum of xy divided by n, and then the square root of that. So we have, the next one is the sum of x times y divided by n, and then what is the sum? The sum of x times y, that is 638.7. So what is n stands for? The n stands for number of pairs. How many pairs do you have? Let's count. So we have, check out the data. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So we have 7 pairs. So we have to divide it by 7. So we have 638.7 divided by 7 pair. That is around 91.2. And then the last one is the sum, is the square root of sum of y times sum of x. So what is the sum of y times sum of x equals to? So we did that, the sum of y times the sum of x in purple. So that is 3136. So we take the square root of 3136. That is approximately equals to 56. All right, so that is how you handle bivariate values. It's not difficult. Just make sure you add carefully, and then make sure you don't type any numbers wrong on your calculator. All right, so if you think my instruction is helpful and clear, give me a like, share the video for me. If you are on your way out, click the subscribe for me. See you all in the next one. Signing off for now.